So in studying this, I was like, well, I want to be a person that makes impact and not just impression. And so I started to look at history. And it just came to me that history remembers and only remembers people who've had a conviction stronger than their desire to please. And I really started to drill down on this story of Rosa Parks. And, when you kind of dive into this, this was during a civil rights movement. There were a lot of key figures in the movement. We recognize them with holidays, Martin Luther King, and then you have Malcolm X, and people were getting together and really promoting this idea. And then Rosa, a simple seamstress. She was a part of the movement per se, like she was a part of it, but she wasn't a figurehead. And one day she decides to go on this bus and sit in the front. But what's interesting about the story is that the bus driver looked at her when she sat down in the front and said, "Rosa, what are you doing?" The bus driver called her by name. So what that means is that Rosa had been on that bus many times before that. It was just that day. For some reason, something clicked in Rosa and she said, "Not today. Everything is going to change." And what I realized right there is she had a conviction. She was going to sit in the front, stronger than her desire to please, because the desire to please said, follow the rules, go to the back. And she was like, listen, my conviction is stronger than that. And what we don't really stop and think about is that a simple seamstress did what these powerful figures in the civil rights movement were unable to do. She radically shifted the face of that civil rights movement right there. And so I draw that back, and I when I'm talking to just everyday people, I believe that every person has a Rosa Parks moment in their life. I mean, you and your experience, we're living in times where, the police forces are under a lot of scrutiny. So maybe you're going along with something, but it takes somebody to say, stop. Like, this is not good. And that thing, while it might seem small in the moment, it can literally revolutionize and change the way the entire world thinks about something. I think far too often we place premature burden or responsibility on who we deem are the leaders, the politicians, the people on TV, and we don't realize that a simple seamstress like Rosa Parks has the capacity and ability to radically shift the history of the world. But if she would have gotten on that bus and gone to the back, we would not be talking about her, and nothing would have happened. Everything would have been the same. So for me, it's like, it doesn't matter who you are. You get presented these opportunities. And what also just really sort of tugs at my heart is, when I'm saying this, every time I'm talking about this, I always wonder if there's somebody that's listening that's saying, I missed my moment. I went to the back. And, that's so heartbreaking to me. I want to empower people to be looking for that moment, because you never know what it is. We're waiting for somebody to get on Oprah or to be on Dr. Oz, or if they could just be on CNN or Fox News, everything would change. And the reality is that's not true. It just takes somebody to plant their feet with a conviction that's stronger than their desire to please. And that, frankly, can change the world. And listen, I know your personal story is very much rooted in that very same concept.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's so good. And that Rosa Parks story, it's probably, I don't know if you could find one better. And I love what you said. I'm sure there's a lot of people that felt that they missed their boat. They felt like, man, I didn't stand up and I'm weak and I should have done that. Or even worse, they're waiting for someone else to step up. And you can't. You've got to be that force. You can do it. And no matter how little or small you might think you are, look at Rosa Parks. I mean, she wasn't the Malcolm X. She wasn't the Martin. She wasn't the figurehead of this movement. She became a figurehead at some point, but she wasn't in the beginning. So that's so amazing. For you